Before we get started today, I want to say thank you for every single like, comment, recommendation, and a very special thank you to my listener support group. If you like what we do here at Off the Deep End Podcast, please consider checking out the listener support tab on our channel's anchor link. Without you, we would not be able to continue the great work we're doing with these conversations, breaking down boundaries and helping heal each other by sharing our stories, our trials, our tribulations, and how we process them. Let's jump straight into this episode. Are you thinking about making a podcast? Spotify has a platform that lets you make one, and if I can figure it out, you definitely can too. You can create your own content all in one place for free with zero hangups and even earn money as soon as you get started. Spotify lets you record and edit episodes from your phone or computer so you can go mobile, just like I enjoy to do. My favorite thing about it is that you can create video episodes if you wish and upload them to wherever podcasts are heard. You can even set up subscriptions or, if you're like me, listener support options for listeners to help you grow. I 10 out of 10 recommend the Spotify for Podcasters app. Or, why don't you just step over to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your own podcast. All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Deep End Podcast. Today, I'm meeting with my brother from Big Dan's Nutrition over there in Idaho, Steve Moore. I am so delighted to have you, my brother.
Nice to talk to you. Nice to see everyone here. So, how's things going, Eddie?
Things are going badass, man. A lot of great episodes coming out. But I've been excited about this one because I followed you for your journey, and I'm pretty sure somebody they got a little bit of a tan going on. You might have just came back from Vegas, man. So tell me about how was that experience for you?
It was great. So we were able to get this knocked out. We got my girl Christy Peter. She did a 6-week test contest prep. She didn't take it too seriously. We just wanted to kind of ease into it, see where the bumps in the road would be, see how the carb up would go, the water depletion, all the salt manipulation and stuff. And then the carb up is always key because you never know when the carbs are going to hit you properly. You've been there, done that and stuff. A lot of people watching this might have tried that in the past. And so we were able to pretty well nail it. And as far as hitting any diuretics, she was really coming in. She was basically natural. We didn't do any fat burners. We're not going crazy on hormones or anything like that. She's just basically running the same supplementation that she runs throughout the year. And we just did this diet and one Diazide. I got a prescription for Diazide. So I'm like, here we go. Let's go try it out. So, yeah, we were able to do that. I like using Nutty Buddies. That's my thing. So we were able to figure out what her Nutty Buddy ratio is. Then we did the concepts of using slow carbs like the oatmeal with faster carbs like rice. Keeping that salt on the low for the last couple days, hitting the salt before stage. We were able to get her nice and full. She started looking pretty darn flat on Thursday. It's like, all right, it's about time. And boom, got her in there. She's lean. She had veins running up her abs real well. She came in. She's 6 foot tall, doing bikini class F. So she came in weighing in just fucking dry and shredded with veins all over at 160. So, and she's a former college athlete and stuff going back in the day, and she's been lifting for quite some time. And I think this is her 4th show she's done. And she's pretty well consistently placed top 2, if not first place in most of her competitions and stuff. So she got her master's classes, first place in each. Wellness, she got 2nd, and bikini. And I'm not saying anything, but like you look at the pictures, I think everyone should go look at the pictures. They gave her 4th place, and there was some rumblings like, some strange calls, but it's a small show. We're not complaining. The IFBB judges did pull us aside, and they gave her all sorts of compliments. They told her that she is on a professional level, that she needs to go to nationals this year. She needs to go collect her pro card, and they used the term, you need to get in some real competition. So
I love that, man. That is awesome. That's exactly the affirmation that any competitor would want to hear from IFBB judges.
Yeah, she's just a little on the downside, and when that happened, she was just like she's just over the moon with that. So I was really glad that happened. And when the judges were talking to us, because I knew one of them and the other guy we didn't know, I was able to say, "Hey guys, hang on a second. Let me record this for our friends back home." They're like, "Oh yeah, cool." So then they started over, so that way we could get all that information. I'm going to be putting that on Reels here soon, so everyone can see it. And I'm going to throw some of the contest pictures in there as well with some voiceover, so everyone can kind of see what the trajectory is. So I hope this is my first client to have a little purple or green card brought home from a national stage. I think that will do really well. We've been working real closely together. We've also started a business called Athletic Allegiance. You can go to athleticallegiance.com. We do our coaching for lifestyle, personal training in person and online. And then she has her athletic apparel line. It's like a little triangle A. The leggings are phenomenal. Every woman that has ever tried one on buys it. And then, you'll watch their Instagram and stuff. And then before you know it, something I notice is they have more and more of the line showing on all their Instagram pictures and stuff. They love it so much. And the prices aren't bad either. So when we were also down there, we were able to go to a big expo. It's called Magic. So it's a big fashion thing. And the first part of it is where all the different manufacturers have sample garments from all over the world. So we were able to go there, meet with the manufacturers, talk to them about pricing and quantities, import, export, all that stuff, talk to some domestic manufacturers. And then we were able to actually see which fabrics were the best. And I thought it was cool because there's actually some shoe manufacturers and boot manufacturers over there where you could get like some really high-end boots for like $30, like work boots and stuff. They retail in the United States for like $200. They're quality pieces. And I was pretty excited about that because I wear some boots from time to time. And so I was looking at these things and I was able to see what the kind of how the industry works on the backside of Alibaba, so to say. We were able to see how many units we'd have to buy, what the price per unit is, what the shipping costs usually are and stuff. And since COVID, a shipping container went from $5,000 to $30,000 to take across the ocean. And we've been seeing that on the supplement side with nutritional supplements since that situation happened. But yeah, so we were able to go down there and check that out. We were able to find the manufacturers of Lululemon, Gymshark. There's like 3 or 4 other big names. I think we also found the manufacturers of Gym Reaper and Violate the Dress Code and a few others. And then, so we're going to be able to source the same type of fabrics, same type of patterns and stuff. Of course, we're going to be able to put our own tweaks on them. Just got to change things up a smidge. The men's line's coming soon. We're working on actually finding shorts and sweatpants that fit a real athletic man properly, because those are really, really hard to find.
They definitely are.
Legged sweatpants versus the taper-legged, personally. I think those look better if you're wearing them in public and stuff. So, we got a lot going on with that. athleticallegiance.com. Definitely something to check out for fitness apparel. And then on my side, our company over here, BigDamsFitness.com on the supplement side. Got a bunch of great deals on the website. Big 3, BIG number 3 will get you free shipping. And then over the border into Washington, there's no sales tax, so I'll save you almost 10%. And it gets pretty much everywhere in Washington within 1 to 2 days, FedEx ground. And we're doing a lot of upgrades for customers to Express because we move so much inventory at Express. They're giving us prices that are almost the same price as ground shipping, so we can hook people up. And then 10 Pro, number 10 PRO is another code that you guys can use at checkout, and that gets you 10% off your whole order. So we got a bunch of great stuff. The Pro Hormones, we talked about this a little bit before. The Pro Hormone stacks, we just talked to a customer online. He just placed an order and stuff. So far, he's gained like 25 pounds, 25, 30 pounds in a couple stacks. And this is consistent. He went from like 230 something to 260-ish. And he's a big dude, been lifting a while. And he's done really, really well with them. And according to HR 4771, that was the Designer Anabolic Steroid Control Act of 2014. The ingredients we have are not banned. They're legal for sale, and they work. Liposomal bonding is how they get into the body. They're not methylated. So that's what's delivering the substance, and that's how they're not dying in the stomach acid. Most of these products are by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. They're out of North Atlanta, Georgia. They've been around since the 80s or 90s.
They do a great job of High Tech.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, someone I saw in the audience, I was sitting right behind the cameraman trying to get my pictures and a girl there. And then what was her name? Ashley Kaltwasser, 3-time Miss Bikini Olympia, who's sponsored by High Tech. She's like sitting with an arm reach away. I've met her before. I was hoping she'd be there because I wanted to get pictures of her and Christy so we could do like a High Tech shout out because I had some of the bottles in my bag that I personally use. So yeah, hold these up and tag Jared in and stuff. He's the CEO of the company. That'd have been cool. But yeah, so as far as the store side, all the retail stores that we have in Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Lewiston, Pullman, those are all doing great. We're thinking about doing some level of an expansion down into Oregon. And we kind of hit a snag when it came to our Redmond, Washington location. We kind of had things planned out for 2022 to be like spread out, by the quarter with our projects. And they kind of just got pushed all into the fourth quarter. And then it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get that store open, unfortunately. So I apologize to everyone that's been out there waiting for that. We've had a lot of people come up to me at the shows and asking about that and stuff. The situation is we were able to get a screaming deal on the location because they were going to be tearing that building down in so many months. So they gave us like $1,800 a month for the square footage and stuff. And compared to anywhere else in the area, you're looking at $5,000 to $7,000 a month. So it was something we had to roll the dice on. Get out there, get it done when we can. We got the entire internal build out done. Just need to stock the store and get an employee in there. So we got it for technically 3 more months. But they moved the teardown date from like the end of August, September up to like end of April, sometime in May. So it's still possible we could go in there and we could run something for a little bit and just kind of test the waters. And if it was awesome, then we can go get another spot. There's plenty of locations out there and stuff. But unless we can find someone that can really jump in there and run a store real quick, then we're kind of shit out of luck. So
yeah, but this is online sales.
Running a supplement store and making some money, man, get a hold of us. We can come up with any deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You still got the online sale option, correct, right?
Absolutely. The online sale option from the website, blast it right out to you. And then you can always give us a call over here, 208-816-8396. Call or text. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. If you got supplement questions, I can answer your questions. We can even video chat in the store because I'm either in the warehouse, which I'm at right now, packing packages, got a military order going overseas here, helping out our troops and stuff, keeping them strong. And I can answer all your questions to get the right products there to get you the results that you deserve.
I love that you just said, supporting the troops. I think it's important while you're overseas to be in shape, and all my military friends can definitely agree. I don't know of anybody who I served with who wasn't in the gym at one time. That's why I was always packed. That's why I went at 2 a.m. So I really love that you do that, man. A lot of different companies can't ship out to an aircraft carrier or ship out to Naval Base Bahrain or Newport or Yokosuka. We need people who can ship out to our forward deployed troops, even if they're all the way back in the sandbox. So I appreciate that, my brother. I really do.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes it's a little hard to track those packages, but we try to stay on top of it.
Yeah, you never know when the whole pallet's gonna fall in the ocean, because that does happen.
It does.
Oh my goodness. Well, you brought up something that I really wanted to touch on. I love that you're really into supplements. There's a lot of stigmas that surround the supplement industry with the products working versus not working. I know that having a good diet is the baseline of these supplements that are supposed to add on to or improve or supplement for the baseline diet. I think we can both agree that your diet is very important, but supplements do play a major role. Why don't you give me the top 3 most? So just for someone who wants to just get in shape at the gym, they've never tried it out. They heard about these BCAAs. They don't know what to do. Give me your top 3. What are some of the base 3 that you recommend to anybody starting off?
Well, anyone starting off should get a good quality protein. And in my opinion, the 2 best quality proteins on the market are going to be the Rule One with the red number 1 on it. It's kind of oranges. That's a whey hydrolysate, or the High Tech Precision Protein. There's not really a lot on the market that are the hydrolyzed whey hydrolysate that are going to be able to have that level of purity and cost effectiveness and taste good. And then Rule One also has a naturally flavored, naturally sweetened option in chocolate and vanilla and unflavored. So they're the only ones on the market I know of that have a quality unflavored. Pretty much, if you're going unflavored, you're going raw whey concentrate if you're lucky, or just raw whey that's going to rock your guts. So the big reasons why I suggest those is most products on the market are going to be a 32% purity whey concentrate. Those absorb in about 2 to 4 hours, and you only absorb about half of it, and they're chunky, clumpy, icky, sticky, and nasty because all the byproduct is still in there, which is slowing the absorption. Now, the whey hydrolysate, that is completely devoid of any impurity. They've got all the stuff all filtered out, and then they kind of break down the proteins into di and tripeptides, so it absorbs to the small intestine, into the bloodstream, into the muscles within about 15 minutes. So that's going to be a strategic delivery of nutrients post-workout. That's going to, if you were to look at like, here's baseline, and here's your diet floating on top of it and stuff that you're doing it right. Here's your workout, then boom, you get a nice little blast of nutrients post-workout and stuff. So like you're saying, it's absolutely imperative to be running your diet the best you possibly can. If you can get a nutrition coach, it's definitely something to do. I mean, just like entrepreneurship, if you got a business coach to help you run your business and not make mistakes, get a nutrition coach, diet and training, so that way you can get avoid the problems and stuff. I mean, we got cost-effective options at Athletic Allegiance and stuff. There's going to be all sorts of coaches all over that have cost-effective options. You might as well do it because it's an investment in your health, because if you don't invest in your health today, you pay for it later, right?
Amen.
So running that diet, eating good quality food throughout the day towards your goals and stuff, get the protein powder, definitely have a plant-based chelated vitamin complex. I don't have any in here right now. We got a new palette coming in, the Myovite, Myovite, by Myogenics. Those guys have been around since the 90s. Phenomenal brand, phenomenal company. They started off with some of the more hardcore products in the early 2000s and late 90s, and now they're kind of geared towards the natural and like whole food, like foundational health of the athlete. So they just came out with their Myogenic Super Greens, probably the best greens complex I've seen on the market in a long time, and it tastes good too. All natural. It's got a mushroom blend complex in there, and there's none of the fillers that you usually, like the fluff fillers, you see in a greens complex. One of my friends was comparing it to a greens complex they were getting from New Zealand, and they're paying $150 a bottle for this stuff, and they're buying by the case, so it lasts a while. It's good stuff. Really good stuff. They compared it to what we have with the Myogenics one. They're like, man, this is pretty comparable. It's like $50 for 30 servings. I'm like, yeah, this is barely over like $1.20 a serving.
Why chunk out the extra $100? It's not worth it.
No, yeah, $1.20 a serving is pretty cheap. So then the Myovite vitamins, they just increased the B12, and they just increased, I think, the vitamin C and vitamin D in there. So they bumped those up. We're getting that new selection in here shortly, and that's something that has a joint support built in, liver detoxin support, cardiovascular support for your heart and veins, green food antioxidant complex, and a probiotic that works with your liver support for proper bile production so you get the most out of your digestion. And going back to it full circle, all health truly starts in your digestion. And these are plant-based chelated vitamins, so that means they're attached to the original plant source that they come from, so we can actually absorb it. Because most products in the market are synthetic isolates. You can ask any doctor, most vitamins you can't absorb. Just gotta pee them out. But these are you can plants. Yeah, absolutely. So good protein, good vitamin, and I'd say maybe an amino acid complex or creatine, depending on what your goals are. Or if it was fat burning, maybe go for a carnitine. Carnitine complex is an amino acid chain that helps mobilize broken down fat cells into the mitochondria to expend as energy. So you're actually getting rid of fat. It's not just a fat burner where it's disassembling fat. Like these Stimeraxes, the lipodrenes and stuff. These guys, they got all sorts of beta-2 agonists in here and stuff. And they're going to take that fat cell and disassemble them into glucose, so that way your body can start metabolizing the stuff. But the carnitine is what's taking that broken down glucose and doing the metabolization. And then you can even speed that up with the CLA, the conjugated linoleic acid, so that way your body can see what it's supposed, kind of like bloodhounding it. It sees what it's supposed to break down and stuff, and then just goes after the rest.
Wow. So smart supplements.
Exactly.
I love it.
Pre-workout, it just kind of depends on if you feel like you need it or not. Having a non-stim nitric oxide booster for people that don't need the caffeine might be a smarter idea. And that's something that's often overlooked by new lifters because they think pre-workout and they think caffeine. Pre-workout's really going to be more about having something that's going to increase the oxygen nutrient delivery, like the nitric oxide boosters and stuff, delivering to that increase of oxygen nutrients to your mind and muscles for increased performance and stuff. And then if you get a little beta alanine to stunt the lactic acid, give the tingly feeling and stuff. That's what that tingly feeling is, by the way, is the lactic acid kind of stunts the hydrogen ions from forming the lactic acid, so it tingles, whatever. but less lactic acid, more endurance. And then if you have a little bit of creatine for increased cellular energy, more ATP and stuff, then you're going to go a little more power, a little more output and whatnot. So that's going to be like the real pre-workout. And then if you want to add some caffeine or stimulant to it and stuff, hopefully that you'll have enough vasodilator, nitric oxide booster to counteract any of the vasoconstriction of the stimulant. And then you're still at a excess in nitric oxide, and you're going to have a phenomenal workout. And it also primes your body for an increased recovery time.
Excellent. And that's definitely important. I think recovery is the key to growth, to being better than the day before. A lot of people neglect recovery. There's so many important parts of it, and supplements are a major part of recovery for me. When I'm getting ready for a show, I need to make sure my recovery is on point. I need to be sleeping great. I need to be eating great. My lifts need to be great. I need to feel great. I need to eat great, process my food great. I need to make sure my liver's very healthy with new enzymes, like you talked about. Everything's important. You got to check it every single box, and if you leave one unchecked, it's just another box somebody else can check to beat you. So I definitely love what you got going on there at Big Dan's Fitness, man. You have it dialed in. I was wondering about the natural products you mentioned earlier. One that is away from the pro hormone level.
Let me go grab a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 3 awesome products, 2 I have in my hand here. So we got the Pink Magic by USP Labs. This is owned and manufactured by High-Tech. And apparently from what they told me over there is Jared Wheat, the CEO, he accidentally formulated this a little too steep. And he was just like, hey, this will be cool. Didn't check the pricing correctly, went into production. And basically they make no profit when they sell this to us, but it's freaking amazing. And because it was so popular and worked so well, they're just like, you know what? We'll just let it grow the brand. So this little guy here has 750 milligrams per dose or per serving, which is about 1,500 milligrams a day of an ingredient called EU80. Now, EU80, let me see if I can sure. EU80 is an ingredient that's from the Duzong plant that grows in China and stuff. It's considered to be an ancient Chinese herb. They give it to warriors and athletes for thousands of years to prime them for battle or for competition. And they figured out what it was in that plant. And then there's an enzyme that goes to the androgen receptors of the muscle tissue and makes it really sensitive to the testosterone that you already have. So instead of 1 in, 1 out, it's more like 1 in, 10 out. So it's a signal amplifier essentially. So it just tells the muscle to really perform. So you're going to have increases in strength, increases in endurance, a little bit more hardness and leanness to the muscle tissue and stuff, but you're not manipulating your hormones in the rest of your body. It's phenomenal for men, phenomenal for women. Young people can use it, old people can use it. Theoretically, you could also probably use it to assist in treating erectile dysfunction if you're having some sort of androgen receptor fatigue at the penile tissues and stuff.
Which is very important, and it's a normal thing people go through. I mean, I know there's a huge stigma surrounding whether or not your junk works, but it happens to so many people that I'm around. Even having losing a loss of a family member can cause erectile dysfunction. Any type of cortisol buildup can cause erectile dysfunction. So I think that's a great way to and I definitely recommend to anybody listening you using a natural additive or even not natural additive to change what is going on in your life. Because when you know what, when you look good, you feel good, you fuck good, life is good. I really can't lie. It is what it is.
The other thing to help balance stress and the side effects of it, aromatase, which is an aromatase inhibitor. Just like you're saying, cortisol is an estradiol style hormone. So you want to stop that, keep it down, and make sure to stop any of that from hitting the hypothalamus that would go to the pituitary gland and command the body to decrease luteinizing hormone and stuff. So we can help lower the estrogen and keep your testosterone so it doesn't aromatize by using aromatase. So that's another cool thing. Going back to this product here, also on that same note, we do have some testosterone boosters in there. We got Tribius terrestris in an extract. Then we got the fenugreek, some mucopurions and stuff. Then going on down the way, you got a little bit of 25R spirostin, if you guys can see that. And 25R is a DHEA metabolite the Russians came up with probably back in the 50s, and they would give it to their athletes when they were coming off their sauce, going to competition to be tested and stuff. And what it would do, it would kind of regenerate the androgen receptors, replenish them, and make the muscle tissue grow more androgen receptors. So that means more locks to interface with more keys to unlock your potential. And then you also got about 150 milligrams of epiandrosterone. Epiandrosterone, some people think it's more like a prohormone. Really, it is a natural substance. It naturally occurs in pine pollen. So that's why in the Northern Hemisphere, mating season for mammals is usually in the springtime when all the pollen's going around. Because as we breathe this stuff in, it's going to help increase a little bit of DHT, but on a safe level, not like aromatase conversion and stuff where it's like a byproduct and stuff. But it's very similar to that standalone hormone. And it's going to definitely increase in strength, increase in virility, give you a little more aggressive when you want it, but not when you don't want it. And then we have that just overall power and output in the gym. Now, when it comes time to recover, like you were talking about, we need to grow. And that's where the Laxogen 100 is going to come in. These guys here are liposomal bonded 100 milligram Laxogen, 5-A-hydroxylaxogen, and it's an extract of Smilax. So Smilax grows in Japan. It's similar to American sarsaparilla, but they have an enzyme in there called 5-A-hydroxylaxogen. And that stuff there, what it does is go down to the damaged muscle tissue, and it helps replenish muscle tissue by 300% in clinical research studies. The Japanese have had this substance isolated since about 1967, and then they've done tests on castrated rats to prove that it grows muscle independent of hormones. They've tested on men, women, children, old people, young people, you name it, and they even use it as medicine over in the Asian countries to help people recover after surgeries and stuff. Now, with this stuff here, 200 milligrams a day is great. I was cycling down on my hormone stack that I get from my anti-aging clinic and stuff. And my GP wanted to run a bunch of tests on me and stuff to make sure I'm still super healthy. So I was popping 6 of these a day. And popping 6 of these a day, I actually had some strength increases instead of losses. And I was cutting down on my cruise for by probably 60% down on my hormones. So, and I didn't lose a single pound and no size loss. I looked a little flat, but as far as it goes, like I didn't lose any size and strength. I increased strength using that. So 6 a day was the equivalent result. About basically kept me head above the water on a decrease in 60% of my hormones. So that was pretty cool. Just because of the protein synthesis increase, and it stops muscle loss. So it's an anti-catabolic agent. And also for cortisol, it also decreases cortisol. So if you are in a stressful situation, some of this stuff with some 5-HTP would be really handy for you. And then CBD can help with that also. Let's see. Something else this guy does, I would say, how to explain that. I guess if we want to talk about the science of it and stuff, I can go into that real quick. Stranded muscle fibers are basically a parachute cord or Cat5 cable. That's a good example for it. When we work out, we damage some of those fibers in there. And inside that cable or cord, you have a bunch of liquid called cytoplasm. And then you have all your amino acids floating around in that stuff. And then there's like these little fucking apple fritter looking guys running around in there that are called ribosomes. And when we damage a piece of tissue, we go to the cell nucleus, we pull a messenger RNA out of that. It's supposed to go float around in there, get picked up by a ribosome, and then it reads that like a ticker tape, and then it assembles a protein and then jettisons that protein into the damaged fiber to go and then patch that protein like patching drywall. Now, this enables those ribosomes and that whole function to just be magnified. So you can spit out more proteins, and it will jam more proteins into that strand of muscle fiber. So you got that fiber. The more proteins you jam in there, the bigger the fiber gets. The bigger the fiber gets, the bigger your muscles get, the stronger it gets. So that way it can be packed full of more proteins for the healing side, and then it increases the healing time. So that protein synthesis duration, by increasing it by threefold, you're going to get, let's say, instead of being sore for like 4 or 5 days after a hard leg day, you're maybe sore for like a day or two because you've completed that process so much faster and stuff. So that way you're able to continue to get stronger and perform at a higher rate and then repair that muscle tissue. So then it can be, once it's repaired, it can actually perform, take damage, and then grow again. So
that sounds like the magic combo you got there, pink magic and Laxogen. I'm gonna have to pick me up some pink magic and some Laxogen. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is good stuff. So then there's one other product I don't have in my hand over here. We got them at the stores. We're moving them pretty quick. The Turkesterone 650, ecdysterone alkaloids and stuff. There's been a lot of talk online about that. We've had a lot of people use the capsule types. And they said like, hey, I tried using the suggested dose. I went up to like 6 to 8 units a day, and that seemed to work really, really well. And they're taking 2 tablets of this stuff a day. Again, liposomal bonded, so it doesn't die in your stomach acid. 95% delivered to the bloodstream. And the Trekesterone 650, they're saying 2 tabs of that stuff is the equivalent to 6 to 8 tabs of other brands. You get a really, really high level of purity when you're dealing with anything high-tech brand. So stacking that with it is phenomenal. We got a guy here in town. He's the powerlifting coach for a local outreach, dealing a lot with teenagers and stuff. And he's 60 years old. He's not on TRT. I just gave him some of these balls and went, bro, you got to try this stuff. And he didn't have a lot of money. He's pretty much close to retirement and stuff. So he ran this month one. He's was he like 5'4", 5'5", and like 135, 140 pounds. He takes his bench press up from 205 to 230. And right now, he's started on his first week here. He did bench again, and he's told me that he's up to about 240. I said, all right, third round, if you hit 275, you got to pay full price for a round, man. So he's like, well, if I hit 275, I'll gladly scrape together some money. Well, all right. Right now, I got 2 rounds for free on this guy. I tested it out. So I wanted to see, like, I know he trains. He's a serious athlete. Been doing this a long time. So I want to see what this guy at his age will take it. He's not having any side effects. He's loving the stuff. And just so everyone knows, one of the things about the Trekesterone, how does it work? Part of it scientists don't know, but the part they do know is it seems to select the messenger when you go to the protein synthesis portion, when you're going to the repair, when the body says, hey, let's go ahead and select a messenger RNA, if you got like a 1 through 10, like a weak genetics versus like superhuman caveman genetics, and you're sitting right in between like a level 5 out of 1 through 10, it's going to pick the heavy duty genetics. There's something in that enzyme that apparently makes it do that. So your body will source a messenger RNA from like your oldest ancestors' genetics, and they'll put it out there, and your body will start replicating that protein according to that blueprint, and it will jam it in that fiber. Now, I like to compare it to like if you got a Subaru and like to go take your Subaru down to the racetrack and it's a stock Subaru, you're going to break some parts when you're racing. So having the Trekesterone, a good quality one, is like having a little buddy with a performance Subaru shop and a lot of extra parts on hand. So every time that you break a part that's a stock part, you bring it into him and he replaces it with a performance race car part. So the answer to if I take Trekesterone and I stop taking Trekesterone, what happens at the end? Well, all the parts are still in you, so you're just going to keep that going, and you go from stock Subaru to performance race car Subaru, and you just keep going. So that's kind of cool. So every 7 years, according to science, every 7 years, your body is completely changed out every cell in its being. So keep that in mind. That is a thing. So, and I want people to go look that up. It's kind of interesting.
That is definitely interesting.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with like young athletes and stuff from the age of 7 to the age of 14 to the age of 21 and stuff. What can we train that body and that genetics to do to replicate and whatnot? And then like with animals, horses, dogs, when you're dealing with breeding horses and dogs for performance, their bodies replicate much quicker and stuff as far as total cell changeover as that goes. And so you can kind of almost like get 1 litter out of a dog, and then you keep training that dog or horse, and then get a different litter that will, after time, that will perform completely differently if you're doing a hunting dog, a drug dog, if it's for running for fast or whatever, you name it. And that's been studied throughout history and whatnot. So humans can we can do some similar things. It's kind of interesting.
That is definitely interesting, especially with the supplements. I don't know whether to call you a biology major or have a master's degree in chemistry. I think you might be like the supplement master of knowledge that I've ever had on here and talked to. Wow.
Yeah, I got a few people in the world that are saying that are in some high up places and whatnot. And so fun fact, we got a guy up in Moscow. He owns a lab. He used to be a scientist for Pfizer and stuff. Now he does government contract work. His name escapes me at the moment and stuff, but I'll figure it out in a second. So we had a friend that was a bodybuilding coach. He had passed away. His name was Brad Hollenball. I don't know if you guys knew him. He was pretty well known in the world. He was getting coached by him, and Brad would always send people over to us and be like, if we can't get something, go talk to these guys and we'll figure out what's going to do the same thing. because I'm working on putting a series of videos together that will actually give comparisons, like these pro hormones or supplements or do something similar to this kind of steroid, because that's something that no one knows. No one can really come out and make the comparison and stuff because they don't have the experience. I've got 15 years experience in doing all this stuff. So I'm able to kind of start making, and plus it's not just my own personal experience. I'm talking to people all day, every day, whether it's customers coming into a store or customers calling in about this very niche type of subject. And it's something I've studied exponentially where I can get that understanding of what's going on. And then I was talking to the customer just a little bit ago, and then make suggestions based on how they reacted to a particular combination of products. And then you should get these X, Y, and Z results, report back, and they get those X, Y, and Z results. So it proves the accuracy and stuff. So that's important, because the other thing is everyone's body's different. So you got to take in data from these individuals so you can make your assessment and make your adjustments and then go from there in that direction. But yeah, that guy was a scientist, and he called me up and he says, hey, we can't get these particular ingredients right now. What's something that can do the same thing in this period of time? I got to go do the show. So I was explaining to him, all right, can I tell you the science? He's like, love the science terms. I'm a scientist. Oh, yeah, scientist. So I gave him the breakdown, and he said I explained it to him perfectly, and he understands exactly what I was talking about. He used the product. He went to the show, and he did very well. So I was just like, perfect. There you
That's
go.
phenomenal.
So yeah,
I think it's very important to have it. You're talking about some things that a lot of different supplement companies that I've had experience do not have, and a lot of different people who push subs don't have. And quite frankly, it stands out. Like anyone who listens is going to have the same opinion. You have quality supplements. You try them. If you don't like it, you'll probably get rid of it. One, because it doesn't make money, and two, that doesn't make sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? So, but also you have a very, very extensive experience of knowledge. You have a wealth of knowledge surrounding each supplement. So I really do appreciate you giving that in-depth breakdown, because I'm a nerd. I love when people break down things all the way down to the molecular level. That's exactly what I enjoy.
Yeah, I'd say company-wide, the vast majority of our employees, I'm thinking like maybe out of 20 of us, maybe 2 are not competitive athletes. And trying to think, I think almost, the vast majority of us are. So we've been able to use these things, go to stage. We've got a handful of guys that have taken swords in the last couple of years and whatnot using these things. And when I compete, for the most part, so I'll call that guy back. That's a supplier. When I'm going to stage, for the most part, I am using my anti-aging prescriptions, and then I got my supplements that I'm using. So I'll tell you this, the stuff that I'm using that we sell over the counter or online, it's good enough to hit top 5. It's good enough to win your class sometimes, but it's not good enough to win a sword. So I'll tell you that. That's exactly where it's at for me, anyways. So we got a handful of other dudes out there that have, when they've got their swords, they might have been using some of the products. The Insulode, as far as when it comes down to the insulin manipulation with carbohydrates, I really like that product by Hi-Tech because it's something I can leverage. I haven't had a situation once where I've spilled over with that. So using metformin or insulin, trying to time that stuff, it just gets finicky. You don't know what's going to happen sometimes. I mean, you really got to be like on point with it and stuff. And then if you start to spill over, it's like, what do you do? Because you can't inject more, because then it's like too late anyways, and then you can go to anaphylactic shock and die. With the Insulode, it's just like if you start to spill over, just pop another one, and within 10 minutes, you just suck dry. So that's pretty cool. So
supplements can do all sorts of things, and when you're coming down to the nitty gritty showtime, we don't have time for mistakes. We cannot afford mistakes. It has to be perfect. Your drying out method has to be perfect. Your carb load, everything, how you process these things has to be perfect. Your water depletion has to be perfect. You don't want to be the guy with the sunglasses on, with the headphones on, just trying to block out noise, and you feel like crap on stage. You want to have a nice, smooth prep. You show up and take your trophy and go home.
Yep. That's about right.
Absolutely,
so man. We're working with Wade over there for Shadow Productions. First show of the Northwest is kicking off April 1st. Vancouver Open in Vancouver, Washington. That's at the Heathman Lodge, kind of over on the east side of Vancouver there, just a little bit off I think it's 205. And yeah, that's going to be an awesome event. So we'll have a booth out there. We're going to have a bunch of free samples for the audience members. We're going to be doing some giveaways. We're going to have live product for sale. The Athletic Allegiance apparel clothing, we're going to have that over there as well, along with BigDansFitness.com, Big Dan's Nutrition apparel. So that's all kicking off full swing really well. And we're still trying to get, last year we were able to get Kai Green from Redcon to come hang out with us over at the Emerald Cup at our booth. That was a huge turnout. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get Kai this year. He's pretty darn busy and whatnot. We're checking some other dates for some of the other shows that we're putting on in the NPC up there. Jay Cutler should be down there with us in Boise at the Idaho Muscle Classic. Just trying to think of the other guest posers that are going to be out there and celebrities that will be around that we got coming in. Yeah, but we got a lot of good shows in April and May coming up. They're up here local, and then there's gonna be more shows in over the summertime over in Oregon with Dominic over there, and then we got some of the other shows over in Washington as well, and then it will be going into the fall season again.
Yeah, with Ribbit Productions. I know I'm excited to see you at these shows. Now that we have, I can put a more of a face to name instead of just
Yeah,
muscles. I'm super excited to be able to come up and chat with you. Maybe I can recommend some products to some people walking by. You never know. So
yeah.
I definitely look forward to seeing you at these shows. What do you have personally going on for you in the near future as far as competing? When the next time are you going to see you on stage? Because I know you have a lot of supporters. You're a pretty popular guy because you're kind to people, you're honest with people, and you help them achieve their goals. You don't have to hoodwink people if you're telling them what's going to help them. And I love that about the supplement industry. There's a lot of great people out there, but I really wanted to chat with you today because of what you're doing. What do you have going on in the future?
Well, I kind of wanted to hit a national show this year. I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably do some competitions later on in the year, I'm thinking, because right now I want to focus more on the business side. We got a lot of stuff going on with Athletic Allegiance. Um, you know, Christy was pretty worried back in December. She was just like, oh my gosh, we made this commitment. I don't have enough clients. I'm like, dude, chill. We're going to have so many clients coming in. And right now she's got a full load, making plenty of money and stuff. So I'm just like, hey, we're getting you some more. She's almost, I think she's going to get to the point where she's saying, stop. I'm helping out a lot with those clients and stuff. Um, they're all making amazing transformations. I was just talking to her the other day, and she was showing me she was sending me screenshots of the text messages she's getting from her clients. And they're just like, oh my God, I could never do this. I've tried so many times in the past. I failed. And then I found you, and your techniques are getting me these results. And I never want to quit. You're so awesome and stuff. She's like, I'm literally sitting here with tears in my eyes, reading these messages. This is the most fulfilling job I've ever done in my life. So I want to focus on more and helping more of the clients and stuff. I know she's going to be going to nationals. She's got some more shows coming up, so I want to really work more, getting that dialed in, put my focus into that. And then we just opened the Airway Heights store in Spokane, which is over by the Air Force Base. And I want to be able to take some of my time and go up there, get a little more outreach going. And then with, what's that? East, was it? I think it's Eastern. Was it Eastern Washington, EWU, Eastern Washington University? Get down there and start doing some seminars with those kids. Let them know what some of this stuff is, because we're only like 10 minutes up the road from those guys. Recently, if you go scroll down on my Facebook, you'll see me at a frat. One of the things we do up at WSU and U of I from time to time is they used to bring us in for like a health credit. Now they're bringing us in for a science credit, because we can, just like you saw, explain these things to a level of science and whatnot. So now they're getting the GNC to come in for the health credit. They get some samples, bring us in. We do a lot more samples and whatnot, and we'll do some different fun things. We do a raffle when we come in. We do a drawing and this and that. Give some products away. Give away some shirts and stuff. The kids love it. And these young men are definitely being pretty surprising to me on this last one. They were able to hold good conversation. They were able to understand the subject matter. A lot of these guys were majoring in science in this fraternity and stuff, and they got some kinesiology majors in there, so we were able to have a good conversation. And then we had a few guys that are wanting to get into the competitive bodybuilding world and stuff at one point. So that's really cool. So we will do seminars from time to time. I want to do a little more outreach with those guys. But yeah, I'll probably do some fall shows. My next big goal, I got a show in mind that I'm thinking if I dial in and I get bigger, as I continue to go on my process and stuff, there's one that I want to try. I think I might have a shot at winning the show finally. You know, I got the Triple Crown overall last year in the NPC. Christy was my coach on that. So she got me dialed in for it for a lot of these competitions and stuff. So she did really well. And primarily we're doing lifestyle. We can also do contest prep, but primarily we do lifestyle. And yeah, so I was able to do that. It was one of my teammates, his name's Roger Montgomery. He got the Masters class, Triple Crown overall. So that means we got the most first place trophies in my case, the open classes out of any man in the Northwest. And he got the most first places in the Masters class out of any man in the Northwest and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then Dana Richards, she got the women's open Triple Crown overall. And then there was people that got at least 3 first places. Those guys got Triple Crown little glass trophy. So I got a big gold cup and a banner.
Good. Yeah,
cool.
you deserve the biggest one. Yeah, 100%.
Right on.
Why not?
So yeah,
man?
I just kind of figure out where I'm at. So at some point, like the way I've always kind of looked at the way I like to look at doing the diet thing is a little less like smoke and mirrors and shit. Like I say, number one, we're gonna put our protein where it needs to be. I just like to pick 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body mass. And then we're going chicken, beef, eggs, fish, those type of things. Cut out the pork because it's too much fat and it's just not that great. So put those in place, get those spread out throughout the day where you're supposed to have them and stuff. The protein shakes, you know, you could do 100 grams of whey protein to fit me. I'm a large person. I'm 240 pounds right now. I'm still pretty darn lean. Off season.
Yeah, you got an 8-pack still. It is what it is.
Still got the serrations on the sides and stuff, and I'm eating cake and cookies and whatnot. But at the same time, I'm running my diet right, so all that stuff burns off. And then what we do is we say, all right, next step, we want to make sure you got the right vegetables and stuff. You got to have the fiber. It's great for digestion and all that. And then we're going to go ahead and put the carbs around the workouts. And when we're going to start, as soon as we get to that point, as we're working this athlete through, we're going to start removing the sugars and stuff, getting the bad processed stuff out there. So you're going to start to see a leaning down at that point. Of course, increasing protein is going to increase resting metabolic rate and stuff in general. And then once we get to there, fats usually fall around the right range. It's one of those deals where unless you're trying to do the bulletproof coffee where you're throwing like a stick of butter in your coffee, you're really not going too far over in the fats. We like to try to track them and stuff, but usually we haven't had any issues with having anyone that was like their fats are way out of range and stuff. It's like, yeah, usually they're in range, but we usually just focus on the carbs and stuff, getting those strategically delivered and stuff. And then we'll do a little carb cycling, find out where that person's sweet spot is. And then we can start making our dives and where we start getting that body fat down there. And then the other concept I like to stress is carbs are fuel. So when we have our protein right, then we're going to put our carbs in the right spots to fuel the muscles. So that's how we're growing, especially in our off season. And we want good quality carbs, guys. And then what's the side effect of the carb that makes us gain fat is excess calories. So and when we're high on the calories and we're too out of range on the calories because we're putting enough carbs in there to make the muscle grow and function, all we got to do is increase the stair stepper or incline treadmill, and that brings that calorie down, but we're still fueling that muscle for growth. And one of my buddies is doing something very similar with his coach. And I was like, oh, that looks amazing. I was looking over his plan. I'm like, this is great. And I explained to him, this is what he's doing. This is genius. This is going to do real well for you. And he said that he's growing. He's gained he's gained weight. He's getting stronger. And then he's also getting leaner at the same time. So that's phenomenal. And the other thing is something I referenced John Ott. He's from the Northwest. He just started Yup Strength, and we stock some of his products for his pre-workout, his pump complex, and his smelling salts. Phenomenal brand, amazing taste too. He does contest prep coaching, and he hasn't got his pro card yet, but I hope he gets one soon because I don't want to compete with him anymore. That guy, he used the concept of like, hey, let's walk the calories up and balance it with the cardio so the body gets used to those calories in the off season. And then when we start making our cut, we just incrementally walk it down. The body starts losing fat. So when you're like 4 weeks out, you're not starving to death. And so far, I've done a handful of contest preps for athletes doing the similar concepts along with what I was kind of explaining, which is pretty much all the same stuff. It's just the way you kind of visualize it. But no one's losing strength. No one's losing a whole lot of energy and stuff. I mean, a little foggy and shit. Let's see, what am I at? 4%, so I'm probably gonna have to go here in a second. But for the most part, we got athletes going in, not losing muscle because we're checking them on in-body. Some are doing DEXA scan and dunk take and stuff, but they're not losing muscle. They're losing just fat. And we even had one chick last year that she hit a squat PR 2 weeks before she fucking went on stage for bikini. I'm just like, yeah, no problem. And all her girlfriends had a different coach, and they're like, dude, I'm dying, blah, blah, blah.
Oh no, those coaches out there that run people into the ground, they got to get their shit together, because you should not feel too horrible if you have a well-rounded coach. It should be a nice, smooth slide into the water. You'll be fine. It'll be good. Don't worry about drowning. So I really value your approach as well, man. I just want to say I'm super appreciative of your time, my brother. Thank you for your extensive knowledge. I'd love to chat with you offline, and maybe in the future as well when you open up that location you were talking about. I'll make sure to put all the links in the description as well. But is there anything you'd like to say to anybody listening to this if they're on the fence about getting the supplements at all?
Well, if you guys got any questions, give me a holler, because it's really all about just getting the right supplements for you to get the results today.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you all for listening to another episode of the Deep Podcast. Check the links in the description and get with Big Dan's Fitness today. There's no reason why you shouldn't have the body you deserve. Stop looking in the mirror with a frown. Smile, bitch. I'm just joking. Be happy, y'all.